Winnipeg! Winnipeg, I beg you, please start winning games. Sincerely, a Vancouver Canucks fan who is coming off of the World Juniors, salivating at the idea of drafting Ivar Stenberg first overall. You know, I think at this point, common consensus all over social media is that Gavin McKenna, first overall projected pick by many outlets still. Maybe because they haven't been updated yet. I don't know. We can let the outlets decide that for themselves. But Gavin McKenna has worked his way down the NHL Draft rankings in terms of common public sentiment on social media. And I get it. Social media, schmedia. It's not the be-all and end-all. People's opinions on Twitter, people's opinions on Instagram, YouTube comments, YouTube videos. This is not everything. But I am starting to see so much more sentiment all over my timeline that talks about Ivar Stenberg as being the potential number 1 overall pick, and maybe even a guy who is a stronger first overall candidate than Gavin McKenna. And I'm sitting here as a Vancouver Canucks fan begging the Winnipeg Jets to start winning games. Take a look at the NHL standings as they are placed right now. Vancouver is second last in the National Hockey League with 37 points in 41 games. They are 3 points back of Calgary, 4 points back of Chicago, and here's the funny part about it. Chicago, despite being fourth last in the National Hockey League, they are only 4 points out of a playoff spot. The Flames are 5 points out of a playoff spot. The West has just been so bad this year in terms of the overall wins and losses that the fact that Calgary is still within striking distance of a playoff spot despite being 30th overall is bizarro to me. But Vancouver is 31st in the league, and Winnipeg is 32nd. The Jets have 34 points in 40 games. They have lost 4 games in a row. They are 1-6-3 in their last 10. And it seems like, by all accounts, they may have just rushed Connor Hellebuyck back. I mean, that's what it looks like. He was supposed to be out for a much longer period of time than he actually was, wasn't he? But they rushed him back because the team wasn't doing all too well. And now he's not doing all too well either. Man, this guy won the gosh darn Hart Trophy last year. And I'm not even going to say that wasn't deserved. Connor Hellebuyck putting up numbers akin to the Carey Price of however many years ago, who had also won the Hart, and I think Price also won the Lindsay on top of that, not to mention the Vezina. Connor Hellebuyck is normal this year. Yeah, he's fine. Not the best, but he can't will this Winnipeg team to victories right now, and the Jets have been so disappointing. Eric Comrie was not able to hold the fort down when Hellebuyck was out, but then again, even with Hellebuyck in the lineup, they're still losing a bunch, so the tank is on in Peg City, I guess. But as a Vancouver Canucks fan, I'm just begging y'all to stop. Learn how to win, please. Find a way to do it, because Vancouver, I think a lot of Canucks fans are starting to hop onto the Ivar Stenberg wagon, and this video, it's technically not a why I want. It's just talking about the World Juniors like we had seen yesterday, the tournament in itself, and the skills and whatnot. Gavin McKenna is a fine first overall pick. He's a skilled player, he's got a load of talent, he sees the ice so well, his puck skills, his perimeter play, it's second to none in this draft class. But I think, based off of the attitude and the maturity that we had seen in the World Juniors throughout the course of the past few days, we are seeing a lot of Canadian fans looking at a guy like Gavin McKenna and saying, wow, even though he produced all of these points in the tourney, he's a draft-eligible guy that made Team Canada and produced so much. That is obviously a feat that is very rare, but a lot of us came away out of this tournament thinking that this guy just did not improve the team. He didn't will results like we've seen other players in similar situations do. Gavin McKenna did not even match up to half of the aura that Connor Bedard had when he was at the World Juniors a few years ago. Now I know it's because Bedard ended up breaking so many records and he ran away with the point-scoring lead by a mile, but Gavin McKenna didn't have any sort of a similar impact in these games, with the exception of the hat-trick game against Denmark. You talk about irresponsible penalties, cross-checks that mean nothing, abuse of official, and then the sour graping to the media afterwards. Gavin McKenna is a player that knows how to win, but he doesn't know how to lose. And this is a guy who, after being challenged for the first time, it seems, in his hockey-playing draft stock life, he showed a side of himself that had a lot of Canadian fans scouring. Yeah, he's still talented. Yeah, he's still going to be a top prospect, but is this guy a winner? Meanwhile, you look at Ivar Stenberg on the other side. Yeah, he didn't score as many points, but guess what? He's actually doing very well in his Swedish Hockey League play this year, more so than anybody ever really expected. Ivar Stenberg is a point-per-game guy with Frölunda Hockey Club in the SHL, and he had 10 points in 7 games for Team Sweden at the World Juniors. Again, a draft-eligible guy. He'll be eligible to go to next year's World Junior Hockey Championships. And this guy played in this year's tournament looking like an NHL player already. The poise, the maturity, the responsibility. He committed to everything that was given to him, and he made it look effortless. This is a guy who just knows how to do hockey right. And the maturity that we had seen out of him in his game, it really makes me believe that this is a player worth taking over Gavin McKenna when all is said and done and the lottery balls are drawn come June. And I know I'm not the only one who's going out there and saying that attitude issues can be a hindrance when it comes to taking Gavin McKenna first overall. Maybe not in the eyes of some NHL scouts. Maybe others will believe, oh yeah, no, this is the first overall guy. It's not going to change. He scored more points. He is a draft eligible playing for Team Canada. He had a super important role. That's not going to be taken away from him. And that's fair too. All it takes is one GM to go out there and think that McKenna is the right guy at number 1. And then all of a sudden he's the guy at number 1. That's how it goes. It's one choice, one player. But I think at this point, for Vancouver Canucks fans, thinking about Gavin McKenna and seeing some of those attitude issues in the game, specifically the semifinal game against Czechia, seeing that temperament out of a guy that's supposed to be the first overall prize, I mean, it just does not rub me the right way. There were so many Canucks fans saying, hey, imagine that, eh? Vancouver finally moves on from the locker room drama that happened with Miller and Pettersson. Drama that resulted in Quinn Hughes leaving and Rick Tocchet leaving. They got Evander Kane to be the guy to piece things out in the locker room. And then they're going to get this guy, McKenna, who's a sore loser and who takes irresponsible penalties and who gets thrown out of important games because he's abusing the officials. Meanwhile, Ivar Stenberg is just a good pro. He looks like a guy who's poised and ready to go. And he's Swedish. Have him with Elias Pettersson. Bring back the spark that was EP40 and get him to 100 points again. Is it possible? I don't know. But this is all contingent on the Winnipeg freaking Jets winning more games. I beg you, Winnipeg, please win. Give Vancouver the choice of a McKenna or a Stenberg. Or if Winnipeg gets first overall and Vancouver gets second, please take McKenna instead. We will come out with a full-on why I want about Stenberg later. We did make the video about McKenna already. That's on the channel if you want to see it. But for now, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about the Winnipeg Jets and Vancouver Canucks losing records this season, and where that places them in the McKenna, Verhoff, Stenberg situation in the NHL draft to be? Lots of good players this year. It's a good draft. We haven't gone into everybody yet, but we will do that over the course of the next few months here. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about these conversations? I hope you enjoyed this British Astros 99. And bye.